A very good morning to all my dear students. Today we are starting with a new topic titled as Making of Indian Constitution. We are going to understand the developments which led to the drafting of the Indian Constitution. What were the developments taking place chronologically which led to the framing of the Indian Constitution? So, first of all, there are about 7 to 8 developments which finally led to the drafting of the Indian Constitution. So, let's start with the topic. First and foremost development was the birth of the Indian national movement. Students, when I speak about the birth of Indian national movement, here, the feeling of nationalism, or you can say home rule, started growing in the minds of the Indians. It was around the 19th century, but it started growing more and more with the formation of Indian National Congress. Students, the establishment of Indian National Congress was established or framed in the year 1885. So, what happened is the Indian national movement strongly disapproved or was not happy with the current existing government during those times. So, what they demanded is they said that there should be some sort of changes or some sort of reforms to be brought in the existing government. And they asked or they demanded that there should be some reforms in the parliamentary form of the government. So, after accepting the demands made by the Indian national movement, the British government, because during those time we were under the rule of the Britishers, the British government passed a act called as a Indian Council Act, which was framed in the year 1892. Sorry. Here what happened is this act started introducing new reforms. It said that it introduced different changes in the government, wherein maybe there could be enlargement of members, wherein there were different changes to the existing government. But after making due changes also, the citizens of our country were not happy with the changes made. They highly criticized. They said that the changes which are made are not according to their demands. They were unhappy. They said that new reforms or new changes have to be drafted. And this act was highly being criticized. People were not happy. So what happened is during those time, the British government thought that they should appoint a committee in order to bring changes to the existing government. So at that time, the British government appointed a committee which was headed by Morley Minto, wherein the British government asked this committee to give several suggestions, or you can say several recommendations to bring in changes in the existing government. So what happened is, according to the committee gave several suggestions. But even after giving such suggestions, the Indians were not happy. They said that we are not even happy with the suggestions or recommendations given by the committee. And also, they said that we are not going to be fulfilling their aspirations in terms of accepting those acts. And hence, even this act, wherein they gave several suggestions, recommendations, was highly criticized. Later, a Government of Indian Act was framed in the year 1919. So, what happened here is the Indian National Congress during this time became very active. and it was during the First World War. At that point of time, here the Indians asked that since they were not happy with the previous acts, wherein they said that there should be again new reforms which should be made to the existing government. So, listening to this demands, the government or the British government thought they have to respond towards it. So, in response to this popular demand, the British government thought of making a new declaration, wherein the British government said that it is better that they could increase associations of Indians in every branch, maybe administrative, maybe in entire working of the government, and promised Indians that they could have a responsible government under the British rule. But these promises were not incorporated, and hence the Indians were not happy. They did not fulfill the aspirations of the people of our country. At that point of time, the Congress party started protesting. They protested and they demanded for Swaraj. Swaraj means self government student, wherein a country could become wholly independent. They said that we want a country which is wholly independent, wherein the future of the country should be in the hands of the Indians. They said or they demanded that the future of the country should be freely determined or should be freely chosen by the representatives of our own country. Indians themselves should shape their own future or own destiny. And Swaraj was the wish of every Indian. But what happened is, since the Indian National Congress was very active, they started protesting, wherein they demanded that there should be independent India, there should be Swaraj. At that point of time, the Britishers promised them that they would have a responsible government, but they could not incorporate those changes. Hence, what happened? The Indians were again not happy and again criticized their rule. Later, there was a Simons Commission, which was mirrored, or you can say it is called as the Government of Indian Act, which was framed in the year 1935. Now, here, when the Indians demanded that there should be an independent government or maybe a wholly independent sovereign government, the president demanded that there should be further reforms or further changes. And later, the British government led to an appointment of one more committee or one more mission so that the Indians could be happy with the functions of the existing government. And when the British government constituted a commission, it was named after Simon and it is known as the Simons Commission. Here, what all recommendations were given by the Simon were incorporated in an act called as Government of Indian Act 1935. The Simon Commission gave n number of suggestions wherein there could be new reforms or new changes in the existing government. The act said that all India Federation, it spoke about autonomy, that is independentness. They spoke about centralization, that there should be union among the government, etc. But what happened? Even this act was highly or greatly criticized by the Indians or by the parties of our country because it did not fulfill the conditions or aspirations of the citizens of the country. Even during the Government of Indian Act, they were hardly criticized and they were not happy. Hence, the government said that it is always and always better to incorporate new changes. Hence, in the year 1938, students, Pandit Nehru formulated or demanded a constituent assembly wherein the National Congress stood for a decision wherein our country could become wholly independent and just just 1 minute, and a country could become wholly independent and lead to a democratic country, wherein the country said that the commission should incorporate a changes wherein they should adopt a system called as adult franchise. Now, when I speak about adult franchise, students, it means that each and every citizen of the country should have a right to vote, and this right is gained only by the individuals of the country once they attain the age of majority. That is, once they are of 18 years, they are allowed to vote. So, what happened is in the year 1938, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said that our country should be solely independent and it should have a status of democracy. But what happened? This was proposed by him, and he also said that there should be a constitution wherein a constitution of India should be framed without the interference of the outsiders. It should be completely framed by the Indians only. Then later, the next development was of Sir Stafford Cripps Commission, wherein what happened is the demands were already made by the Indians. The demands were regarding the independent country. The demands was regarding a sovereign country, wherein a new constitution had to be framed without the interference of any party. So at that time, this incorporation was highly opposed by the Britishers because it was during the Second World War. And the British started understanding that if this principle could be adopted, then it would so happen that the country like India would become highly independent. So at that point of time, in March 1942, the British government decided to send Sir Stafford Cripps, wherein he would work as a member of the cabinet, and he gave several suggestions, students. Likewise, he gave a suggestion wherein there should be a new framing of the constitution. He said that India should get a dominant status and the constitution should be framed in such a way that it should be free to retain its own constitutional status. Means it should be free from others' independence, or it should be free from others' interference, and it should be highly be independent. Then what happened is during that time, the people of our country were happy because what happened is when Sir Stafford gave this recommendation, people thought that our country could be highly independent. Our country could have a new constitutional status. We could not be dominated by anybody. But there were majorly two parties, prominent parties, political parties existing during those times. The first political party was the Congress, and the second political party was the Muslim League. Now, after listening to the recommendations given by Sir Stafford, they said that yes, they were happy because they were getting an independent status, a new constitution could be framed, and India could get a dominant status. But at that time, there were n number of eminent personalities. They thought that if this proposal could be accepted, then the leaders thought that the seed of partition among the country could grow. And therefore, these leaders thought that it is better that they reject this proposal. No doubt our country could get an independent status. At the same time, our country could be divided also. And hence, the citizens of our country, which were headed by eminent personalities, rejected this proposal. Later, the next development was of cabinet mission. Now, during this cabinet mission, students, after almost the rejections made by or proposed by the Cripps Commission, various attempts were made so that the two parties, that is Congress and the Muslim Leagues, could come to one agreement wherein the proposal could be accepted. Hence, the cabinet thought that it would better to make or announce a decision wherein there could be a compromise between both the parties, but at the end, our country could be highly independent or it could be secular and it could be united. So what happened is this cabinet mission gave a separate status to both the parties, wherein both the parties were okay or they were happy according to their aspirations. Because during this time, the Congress wanted a secular and a united India. At the same time, the other political party, that is Muslim Leagues, wanted a separate country called as Pakistan. So during this time, when the cabinet mission was being adopted, here it was in favor of having only one constituent assembly. And also, this was virtually being accepted principle, and the Muslim leagues also accepted it as their country could get a separate status on their communal lines, and hence there could be separation of powers between India and Pakistan. Once this proposal was being accepted, the next development led to the Mountbatten Plan. At that time, when the Britishers understood that both the political parties, such as Congress and the Muslim Leagues, were going to have a secular country wherein there could be a separation of powers between India and Pakistan, they thought that they should understand what are the preparations going on in order to transfer the power. And hence, what happened is Lord Mountbatten brought the Congress and the Muslim Leagues together in a definite agreement, and he proposed his own plan regarding the formation of the Constituent Assembly. This Mountbatten plan was being accepted because this Mountbatten plan was incorporated in the next development, which was called as the Independence Act, which was framed in the year 1947. Now, what happened according to this plan is the plan of Lord Mountbatten was that he accepted the Congress as well as the Muslim League's plans, that they should give effect or it should bring effect to this plan. Here, the British Parliament thought that they would enact an act which was called as the Independence Act, which was framed in the year 1947. Nothing stood in the way of transferring the powers because the Indian Independence Act was framed in the year 1947, and it was framed, students, with an amazing speed, wherein there were n number of provisions which led to the framing of the Indian Independence Act. Here, the provisions were mainly divided into three. That is the main provisions. First of all, the India, our country, could be divided into two dominations. That is, first of all, our own independent country, India, and there could be separation of powers, wherein there could be one more independent country called as Pakistan. And this could come into effect from 15th August 1947. Secondly, this act said that there could be completely sovereignty in each dominant. Sovereignty in legal terms means, or in simple language means, independentness. Each country could get their own independent status. And thirdly, very importantly, there could be termination of the sovereignty of the British crown, wherein there could be end of the British rule. No more India could be ruled by the Britishers. Hence, what happened is the last British Governor General, who was Lord Mountbatten, he said that there should be a partition of the entire British Empire, and it could be partitioned or divided into India and Pakistan. And during those time, the provisions of Indian Independence Act was being framed, and at that time the Indian Independence Act came into force in the year 1947, wherein our country got a independent status. Students, it was at the stroke of the midnight on 15th August 1947 that our country was declared as an independent nation, and it was preceded by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So what happened during that time is our country was free from interference. There was termination, there was end of the British rule. There was an independent status, there was complete sovereignty, independence got to our country, wherein we were no long or no more ruled by any outsiders. Hence, the next development which led to the framing of the Indian Constitution, which is very, very important, is the Constituent Assembly. Once we got independence and there was an end of British rule, which came to the end in the year 1947 on 15th August, the government thought that there could be a Constituent Assembly which could be drafted, and hence the Constituent Assembly demanded that there should be a Constitution of India which could be constituted under cabinet mission plan. There could be a cabinet wherein the cabinet could make new changes or frame constitution having a new separate status, and hence the Constituent Assembly of India was elected in order to write the Constitution of India and serve as the first parliamentary rule as an independent nation. So during the Constituent Assembly demanded that there should be a independent country which would have independent status. So at that time, so let's now discuss about the Constituent Assembly. When I'm speaking about the Constituent Assembly, students, it was framed with the sole intention wherein they could undertake a cabinet plan wherein the Constituent Assembly asked the country to frame the Constitution of India and serve as a new parliamentary rule. So, first and foremost, there was a new composition wherein a Constituent Assembly of India was framed as a negotiation between the Indian leaders as well as the British Parliament. And here, what happened is when I'm speaking about the composition, there were members which were chosen in order to indirectly elect the members of the assemblies, and according to which there were several members who were chosen to frame a cabinet mission. So, what happened is there were about 292 members which were elected. There were 93 members which were representing their own Indian princely states, and there were 4 members who were representing the chief commissioners. So what happened during those time is almost there were around 389 or about 400 members who were elected as the representatives to frame the Indian Constitution. And once the country got an independent status in the year 1947, that is on August 15th, 1947, India was declared as an independent nation, and hence the Constituent Assembly with the composition of different elected members were constituted, and they thought of framing a constitution which would have a separate status. Later, once the Constituent Assembly was composed with n number of elected members, I told you it was around 389 or so, then they thought of organizing it. Organization means what? They said that there should be a person who could head the Constituent Assembly. So at that time, students, Dr. Rajendra Prasad became the first president of this Constituent Assembly. And at later, he was also declared as the first president of the country. So once the composition was over, once the organization of the assembly was done, later the constituent, we could see day one in the Constituent Assembly. So when I speak about day one in the Constituent Assembly, students, it so happened that the Constituent Assembly met for the first time in New Delhi, wherein it was on the 9th December 1946, wherein a new constitutional hall which was framed, which was called as the Central Hall or the Parliamentary House. There were n number of eminent personalities who preceded with the Constituent Assembly. At that point of time, there were representatives, and later this was the first day in the Constituent Assembly. Next, when I speak about the Constituent Assembly, there were n number of objective resolutions which took place, wherein there were n number of goals which were set up in this Constituent Assembly, such as the Constituent Assembly representatives thought that the country could be highly independent or highly sovereign, wherein they thought that the India could have different organs. I told you in my last class, there are three organs. It is legislative, executive, and judiciary. And it should be derived from the people. The people of our own country should be allowed to freely choose those representatives. They also assured people that all the people in our country could have equal status in case of equal opportunity, in case of equality before law, in terms of freedom, in terms of thought, in terms of expressions, beliefs, faith, worship, etc. So the Indians thought that we could have a country wherein we could get a equal and a secured status. Later, the objectives also spoke regarding safeguarding the minorities and as well as the backward institutions or backward classes, or you can say the tribals in our country. They said that we could have a integrated, a united country wherein there could be independent rights over land, there could be independent rights over seas, there could be independent rights over air, etc. And very importantly, we did not have only a selfish motive wherein we only did not think about our own country. We said that no doubt our country could be independent, but at the same time, we would also promote peace and welfare of mankind in terms of having a good place in maintaining world peace in the entire global arena. We could work hand in hand with the entire global countries all over the world. So this was the objectives which was framed by this Constituent Assembly. So first there was composition wherein elective members were chosen. Later there was organization which was headed by Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Then day one in the constitution wherein there were eminent personalities who met in New Delhi for the first time in a constitutional hall, or you can say in a parliamentary hall. Later, when I speak about the objective resolutions spoke about different objective of this committee, such as they spoke about having an integrated, sovereign, independent nation. It spoke about having equality of status. It spoke about having an equality of opportunity, freedom of thought. People could freely given a right to vote, etc. And the last and very importantly, there was a setting up of the drafting committee, which led to the framing of the Indian constitution. Now, what happened is, you have to remember this very importantly, is students on August 29th, 1947, during that time, the Constituent Assembly set up a drafting committee, a committee which was framed strongly only to look after the affairs of the Indian Constitution. A committee was being drafted to look after the affairs wherein the Constitution of India could be framed and to give them a separate status. Here, the committee was under the chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who drafted or prepared the Indian Constitution. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is regarded as the father of Indian Constitution, and it was during those times, students, it was just not prepared in a day or so. It took almost 3 long years. That is, it took almost 2 years, 11 months, and 17 days to precise over this constitution or framing of this constitution. It so happened that the constitution of our country was not just framed in a single day. There were n number of amendments. I told you in my last class, amendment means changes. There were about 2,473 amendments taking place, and at last totally it clubbed about 7,000 or so, and at last our constitution was being framed. Students, remember, there was a special committee which was headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who is regarded as the father of the Indian Constitution, who drafted the Indian Constitution, wherein it made or completed the historic task of drafting the Constitution for our independent country. Now, during those time, there were about 11 sessions of discussion taking place, and it was covering about 165 days. Out of these, around 114 days were spent only on drafting the constitution. So it was around 114 days wherein the committee took after or looked only for the drafting or framing of the constitution. At last, the constitution of our country, after due framing, was being adopted on 26th November 1949, wherein this date called as 26th November is being regarded as the constitutional day, because the constitution of our India was being adopted on this day. It was appended, means it was duly signed by all the eminent personalities who worked hard in the framing of the Indian Constitution. In all, there were about 284 members who signed the Indian Constitution. And students, this Constitution of India came into force on 26th of January 1950. And this led to the making of the Indian Constitution. So here you have to understand the developments which take place chronologically. So just to have a glimpse of my class, you have to hear it in a chronological way, students. So first, for the students have a who have joined late or there is a confusion in the minds, I will just repeat it once again. Today we are speaking about a new topic called as the making of the Indian Constitution. In short, in a simple words, I will give a glimpse of every point. First of all, there was a birth of Indian national movement, wherein what happened is the Indians had a feeling, or they started having a feeling wherein they wanted a home rule students, and they were not happy with the existing government or the functions of the existing government. So what they thought is, they thought that they could demand the Britishers, wherein they asked the Britishers to have or to bring in new changes and reforms in the existing government. So, accordingly, the British government accepted the demands and they framed two acts, that is, Indian Council Act in the year 1982, 1892, and also in the year 1909. Even though there were changes made in these two acts, these acts were incorporated with the new reforms, but the citizens of our country were not happy, or they did not lead to the fulfillment of their aspirations. Hence, these acts were highly criticized. Next development was Government of Indian Act. During those times, students, Indians demanded for Swaraj, that is self-government, wherein they said that the destiny of our country should be shaped only by the Indians. Later, there was a Simon Commission. The Britishers appointed a committee which was headed by Simon, and he gave several recommendations which were incorporated in the Government of Indian Act 1935. Even the suggestions given by Simon were not being accepted by the people, and hence the people said that we would not incorporate those changes. Later, Sir Stafford Cripps Commission was being established, wherein he gave a proposal wherein Indians could get an independent status, but the people of our country thought that there could be a seed of separation between powers, and hence rejected this proposal. Later, there was a cabinet mission wherein there were two major parties, such as Congress and the Muslim Leagues. They said that the Congress wanted an independent country which could be secular, and the Muslim Leagues wanted a separate nation called as Pakistan. This proposal was being accepted. Later, Mountbatten, he gave a new proposal where he understood that there could be a transfer of powers. Later, the Independent Act, which was framed in the year 1947, gave several suggestions, such as India could get a separate status, it could frame new constitution, and very importantly, there could be end of the British powers in our country. Accordingly, once the British rule was ended in our country got an independent status, which was called as Indian Independent Act, wherein our country became totally independent in the year 1947. Hence, there was a formation of Constituent Assembly, wherein there were elected members which were chosen. There was composition wherein Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the president as well as the chairman of this Constituent Assembly. The people of our country gathered in the Constitutional Hall, wherein the eminent personalities gathered and discussed about the framing of the Constitution. There were n number of objective resolutions wherein they thought that there could be a separate status, there could be a separate sovereignty. This could include good equality of status, opportunities. They could secure all the citizens of our country, all the citizens could get justice, etc. And finally, there was setting up of a drafting committee, wherein a committee was drafted solely in order to prepare the Constitution of India. Here, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was heading this committee, and he was regarded as the father of Indian Constitution, wherein there were amendments which were made about 2000 odd times, and hence the Constitution of a country was being adopted on 26th January 1947, and with due signatures, and finally it came into force on 26th January 1950. With this, we end our today's class. In our last class, we have understood what is the meaning of Constitution, the definition of Constitution, the significance or importance of Constitution, and in our today's class, we were looking after, or we started a topic called as making or development of the Indian Constitution.